This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow should look a lot different than tonight. Driving has been tricky out there with big snowflakes flying. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us straight away this evening with a first look at your forecast. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Those snowflakes we saw tonight were those ones you had to dodge because you worried you'd get knocked out with how big they are. Those big fluffy flakes is because we had so much moisture in the atmosphere. Temperatures right around 31, 32 degrees are when we normally see snowflakes that are that big. And look at what some of those big snowflakes did in Grand Forks. Seeing a coating of snowfall there in the parking lot there and a coating of snowfall there on that Penske truck as well. And look at the roadway there on the right-hand side of the screen. Seeing just some tracks there right in front of the Home of Economy location in Grand Forks where things you can tell are slippery out there this evening. I want to switch this to the Luther Family Ford Skycam. Quite a different picture we're seeing here in South Fargo. Just you're able to see the grass, able to see the parking lot, though we are seeing some tracks of snowfall there in the dealership parking lot. And looks like most of the precipitation here in Fargo has stopped. Maybe still a few raindrops at this hour, but by and large things have really quieted down in Fargo. But that doesn't mean things are done for our friends in Minnesota. Still seeing quite a bit of moderate snowfall making its way through, say, Thief River Falls down into portions of Lakes Country. And where you see kind of a cone of silence up here is in Roseau, Lake of the Woods County. Those are between two radar sites. So we may not be getting all the data we could be from northern Minnesota, but notice things in Fargo pretty much done. Things in Grand Forks pretty much done. Maybe still some rainfall or some freezing rain down toward Barnesville and Fergus Falls. A close look in, though, you see some of those deeper blues near Foston, near the Ada area means there we're seeing that more moderate snowfall. So, Stacey, I'll break down when this snowfall is expected to get on out of here and also talk about how warm things are for tomorrow as well.
Now that sounds good. Thanks,
yes,
Nathan.
You bet.
We're following developments on the breaking news we brought you earlier today. Just before 4 this afternoon, multiple agencies were called to a massive house fire in rural Fargo. Valley News Team's Nashay Taylor was on the scene. She joins us now in studio with the latest. Nashay?
Stacy, it happened near Highway 81 and County Road 16. The fire was so big you could smell the smoke as far as 52nd Avenue in Fargo. But as I was driving to the scene earlier today, the black smoke could be seen from a few miles away while along on I-29. And while I was there, fire crews worked tirelessly to extinguish the blaze. In these photos, you can see this home completely engulfed in flames. One person was taken to a local hospital and their injuries are still unknown at this time. Authorities say battling a fire in rural areas like this one comes with some extra challenges.
So we need to drop a tank and truck all the water in so that can slow things down, can be a challenge.
The battalion chief also says it can be tricky getting the big rigs through narrow roads in rural communities. As of now, it's still unclear how the fire started. Authorities are ruling the home a total loss. Stacy?
Thanks so much, Nashay. We'll continue to bring you the latest as they investigate that cause right here on Valley News Live and valleynewslive.com. New for you tonight at 10. After an hour of discussion at a special meeting this evening, the West Fargo School Board decided not to change its COVID policies. As it's written, if 5% of students in a school are positive for COVID, the school may temporarily close, moving to distance learning. At Legacy Elementary, 5.2% of students are currently positive, according to data released today from the school. Still, the board voted to keep the threshold as is, but not necessarily close the school, rather watch the numbers and consult with healthcare partners. The majority of schools in the district have less than 1% of students with active positive cases. The woman accused of stabbing 3 people in downtown Fargo before barricading herself in a vehicle for hours is pleading guilty. Ashley Larson was originally charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault, but one of those charges has been dismissed. She's expected to be sentenced in January. Those stabbings took place near Mexican Village back on May 13th. Authorities say a man was stabbed in an apartment building near the restaurant. After that, investigators say Larson went to the restaurant and stabbed 2 strangers who were walking to their vehicle. She then barricaded herself inside that vehicle for nearly 4 hours before surrendering to police. Larson faces up to 5 years in prison. A 40-year-old man from Dent, Minnesota was found dead in his home air duct. Authorities say the man's family found his body. They told officers they hadn't been able to get a hold of him for a few days, so they went to check on him. The sheriff's office says the death appears to be an accident. Also new for you tonight here on Valley News Live at 10, the head of North Dakota's sole abortion clinic says the stakes have never been higher in the debate over a woman's right to an abortion. Red River Valley Women's Clinic director is heading from Fargo to Washington, D.C. to join a group of abortion supporters outside the Supreme Court tomorrow. That's when justices are scheduled to hear testimony on a Mississippi case that many believe could decide the fate of Roe v. Wade. She calls the case a grave threat to abortion. The names of the people involved in last night's deadly Fargo accident have been released. Police have identified Luis Jouer as the 73-year-old woman who was killed and Clinton Jouer as the 72-year-old man who was seriously injured in that accident. Police say the couple was stopped in the middle of I-29 near West Acres Mall yesterday afternoon around 3 and got out of their vehicle for an unknown reason. An SUV then rear-ended the vehicle, which hit both the man and woman.
And you know, there's that sign that says there's no horn, you know, but there is all the time, always has been.
Some downtown Fargo residents are fed up. They say they live in a so-called quiet zone, but they're kept awake by trains every night. The downtown quiet zone applies to 4 intersections from Broadway to University, but less than a quarter mile down the tracks, the quiet zone ends. Officials say the trains are required to blow their horns before crossing that intersection, but at night, when there's less noise from traffic and temperatures get colder, the sound of a train whistle can travel even further.
They blow that horn so loud at night, and it'll be all night long.
Now, help may be on the way. City officials say they're in the process of expanding that quiet zone further west as more residential buildings go up. They hope the project will be completed by this time next year. If you need help with an issue in your community, you can call our whistleblower hotline right there at the number on your screen, 701-369-3187, and leave us your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. President Joe Biden traveled to Minnesota today to tout the benefits of his new infrastructure law. It comes as the focus turns to how it will be implemented. The president focused on how the new law will create jobs, deliver tangible results for communities, and make America more competitive in the 21st century. After months of negotiations, the House passed the Democrats' $1.9 trillion budget reconciliation package earlier this month. Tonight we bring you the latest on a school shooting in Michigan. A 15-year-old sophomore opened fire, killing 3 people and wounding 8, including a teacher. Alexander Field has the story.
3 students shot and killed at their own high school just north of Detroit. A 16-year-old boy, a 14-year-old girl, and a 17-year-old girl.
I think this is every parent's worst nightmare.
Michigan's governor choking back tears. 7 other students and a teacher all shot after a sophomore at Oxford High School opened fire, according to authorities.
I'm shocked. It's devastating.
The shooting suspect, a 15-year-old boy, firing off 15 to 20 shots over 5 minutes, officials said, while armed with a semi-automatic handgun. Almost 25 agencies and 60 ambulances raced to the scene, more than 100 calls pouring into 911 in the middle of the school day.
There was an orderly evacuation. The school did everything right. Everybody remained in place. They barricaded themselves.
Officials say the suspect was taken into custody without incident, arrested with the help of a deputy assigned to the school. But the suspect, whose parents have hired a lawyer for him, isn't talking to police now.
You've got to know that that whole community has to be just in a state of shock right now.
President Joe Biden addressing the latest school shooting during a speech in Minnesota.
As we learn the full details, my heart goes out to the families enduring the unimaginable grief of losing a loved one.
Investigators say they believe the suspect acted alone. They haven't identified a motive.
We're hearing all kinds of rumors about warning signs. We are not aware of any warnings.
Of the 8 injured, 2 were in surgery. The other 6 are in stable condition with gunshot wounds. Still ahead tonight, a North Dakota gym teacher finding a unique way to honor Native American Heritage Month.
High temperatures today made it into the 30s for most everyone. 41 Gwinnett, 41 Jamestown. But for tomorrow, I'm feeling like we're going to have some nervous high temperature records. I'll let you know how warm things get tomorrow coming up here after the break.